he was kind of doing all right as a beginner. He came to see me and said, I don't understand your birds, my birds don't look like that. We went out to look at his birds and they were tiny. I said, what happened? And he went up north and spent a lot of money and bought pets. I went, Darryl, why did, and he didn't have a lot of money. And I said, why did you do that? He said, I thought I'd win the club show next year. It's like, oh, that champion just thought, here's a fool walking into the shed. So you should really have a little bit of patience, trust someone, go and see birds. And for me, like I said, the most important thing is the average quality of someone's stud. It's not the person who wins here necessarily today. Dougie Ball used to say, I'm not looking at the best in the show bird, I'm looking at the rest of that the rest of the show team to ascertain how good their averages. So it's all that. Every year I've done that. I've tried to improve my average, I've tried to look where I am, and if you're honest, birds you would have kept 4 or 5 years ago, you should be disposing of now that quality, because your quality should have moved on. As a beginner, you got a lot of birds, because by nature, as a pure beginner, you have none, don't you? So, but I think having new blood in every year is a very good thing. I think it keeps you enthusiastic, and it helps keep the gene pool larger, and I think it keeps your numbers up and fertility up. And I think it's quite nice going and see some other studs. I probably don't see as many as I should. I'm quite lucky if I don't give a talk a lot and then go and see a couple of studs and see. And some, I went to see some old boy in the north, and I was shocked how good his birds were. Really, really impressed. He doesn't show me more, and I've been to see others, and I'm trying to find a polite thing to say to the person about their birds, you know. So you should go out and see studs. People are always looking for a bird. I've had people phone me up and go, Conor, what I really want, I want a really long bird, really big head, it's got to be clean, really big spots, long mast, no feather folds. And they've just described a club show winner, and they don't want to pay a lot of money. And it's like, well, if you can find out where you can buy that bird from, tell me and I'll go there. I think you should buy features, you should ascertain what feature on your bird will move your birds forward. So normally the beginner has face, you've got to look for, isn't it? It's width of face. And then you probably need feather and general frame on a bird. So I'm trying to concentrate on this here, big spots on a bird, because the spots obviously frame the face, and small spots can detract. People say you shouldn't buy hens. I quite like buying hens. I like when someone's starting and going, what's that off? And they go, well, this is our best friend, and bred this rubbish. For me, that bird, I think size and feather can be a recessive feature. If you look at people, I'm 14 stone, I'm the smallest brother. My dad's 9 stone, my mum's 7.5, but my dad's dad was 20 stone. So if you look at genetics, things can be recessive. So a small hen will probably breed a lot of chicks as well. So like I said, as long as it's got the right shaped face, and you think, well, just have a bit more feather, a little bit more size. So my ideal in my shed anyway would be medium-sized hens, because they're more feminine, they'll probably breed more, and big buff cocks. And those hens are bred out of big buff cocks. They stand a reasonable chance of being recessive for big and buff, don't they? So sometimes in my shed what you see is the bar heads are bigger than the hens. But that's why. If you buy birds in, I don't like buying one bird off a breeder. One is, I've gone all the way to see the person. One bird might not breed. They have a habit of dropping dead budgies, they're quite frustrating. If you buy 2, you've got more chance, 2 or 3. If they all breed, then you've got related birds you can put back together. I quite like buying a bird from someone's breeding team to an adult, because that's good enough for them. And then I quite like buying a baby bird. That's how I like doing it. And I'm off to see someone next month, and I've said to them I want a rubbish hen. But it's one of the top studs around, and when I say rubbish hen, I mean a rubbish hen off the best birds. But he did that to me last year and come down. I think a bird should pay for itself. You know, if you're looking at what value you've got out of a bird, so, you know, I've just done it costs you 150 quid, you bred 5 birds you value at 30 quid each, you kind of think you cost neutral. It's when people are going to Europe and spending thousands and then coming back and breeding nothing, you kind of think you're not going to be in the hobby for long, because you're going to be so disengaged with it all, really. Pre-potent bird, if you knew what it was, we'd all have saved a lot of money and time. So a pre-potent bird is a bird that breeds visually much better than itself. And I've been fortunate over the years, I've had some. So my first bird was Dougie Boy. I bought a really good light green. It bred me 1 or 2 chicks. It did nothing, and that's all kind of like that. I bought a small, very nice face, dark green. It bred me 22 birds that year, 12 which are hens, all with lovely faces, all with big round spots. I kept them all, and it moved my birds a mile forward. I brought the brother he won Best Champion Young Bird at the club show with a grey. He hated O-lines. Dougie was really funny. He didn't like cinnamons, didn't like O-lines, didn't like spangles. So if you had a really good O-line cinnamon, you were quids in, you could buy that. So I bought that. That bred me my first CC winner. Jeff Tucklin, I said I bought this small pie. It was a recovered French moult, and probably just the energy into recovering from French moult, I think, took some of the size out of the bird. But it was a hen off his best bird. All my pies, and I'll show you photographs in a minute, all come from this one bird. Crooks and Burns, this is great. Sheila bred, a really, really buffy. They had lots of feather, as I said earlier, on the birds. Really buffy, grey-green hen, but it had a bad hit and stood like that. The cockbird just thought she was ready all the time. So from a breed, so Sheila said, look, this bird's damaged. I can't sell it to you. Do you want it? It bred me my first best in show bird, and everything else was CC winner, and I just gave her back one, and it was great. I bought 2 spangles off her one year. I bought a really good light green spangle, cost me quite a lot of money, did nothing. I bought a much lesser sky spangle, and it's on the back pedigree of every bird in my shed. So, you know, what was it? Mick Freed, I gave a talk, Mick Freed, his club, a couple of months back. I bought 3 hens. When I moved to my bigger shed, I ran out of hens, because you can get through quite a lot of hens. So I phoned Mick up, said, you got any hens? He said, I've got some rubbish ones. If you want, they're all lesser, but Mick's got a small stud, so all his birds are bred for him. I quite like small studs. So whilst they were visually not very good hens, they're obviously all off good pairs of birds. One bred really mediocre, and then I had this cinnamon hen, and it bred me loads, and it bred me the father of my dark green that won 5 best in shows. It was terrific because it was smaller, it bred loads, but it was split for buff. And I put it to a really big bird. Richard Miller, we did a swap. So I had a couple of birds of him. I bought a grey-green of him, and the grey-green was 1 of 9. So in the nest there was 9. 8 were best in show and CC winners, and 1 was rubbish. Statistically, if you look at that, both parents are really good, and 8 brothers and sisters are really good. That bird had a high chance of being really good. And when I bought it, I got it home. And those have been a Richard, he's not the cheapest on the planet. I've got this little bird home, and I looked at it and I thought, Conner, what you done? I've got bar heads bigger than this. That bird bred me superb bird. Was really, really fertile. A little cockbird that just kept me going, and I gave it to my mate, and he kept it going for a couple of years as well. And then Richard came down to mine 2 years later. He said, where are all these birds from? I said, they're all off yours. And that bird had been better than the 8 he kept. So that was great. I had a grey pied off him that we swapped. And the grey pied bred me, it didn't bring me any good pies, but it was a good budget. And it bred me a grey-green that won Best in Shetland and Southern. I used to quite like doing this. I'll show you a photo of him. I had the Best in Show dark green, I had this little light green, and I had this massive light green. You saw them. And he said, do you like the dark green? We won 5 best in shows, come second best champion bird at the club show, then yeah, I love it. Do you like the little light green? No, it's rubbish. Do you like this one? This other bird was a monster. Oh, jeez, that's good, Conner. Yeah, I like that. So, well, the dark green bred the little bird, and that little bird bred the monster. And it goes to show the value of that. And then the big bird then bred for me as well. So, you know, that's a terrific line for me. And Keith Morehouse came to me that year. He said, have you got a light green I could borrow? I said, have this. He said, it's not good enough for me. And then he went on and bred me terrific birds. I'm like, oh, well. So it goes to show genetics matter. Keith Morehouse, I said, I've got this grey cock. I mean, it has just pegged it. Sad day. It only bred me about 100 chicks. But it was small. It had a bit of arthritis in the spine. It was slightly twisted. And was still breeding best in show. And I mean, shot at a hen, and it was a young man again, like many good friends.